In this video, I want to go over a few of the common mistakes that I see specialists from other countries make when they go through the process of applying to work in Australia. Hello, I'm Dr. Anthony Llewellyn, the Career Doctor. I'm here on YouTube to help you manage your medical career. So if you're watching this video, you're probably a specialist doctor in another country who's thinking about applying to work in Australia. If so, thanks for putting your trust in me to help you with your specialist pathway application. I'd like to highlight that I now have a short course on my website that you can take for free that will help you to better assess your preparedness and readiness to embark on this journey. Just go to the link in the description. The course is called Becoming a Specialist in Australia. And a reminder that there may be other ways that I can help you out. I've left links to these options in the description as well, including my risk-free strategy call, which is a great option if you just have a few questions or are struggling to know how to get started with the process. Finally, I will also leave a link to a related blog post on this topic where I'll put some links to things like the Australian Specialty College and other related documents that you may need. So today I wanted to go over the 3 key mistakes that I see the majority of specialist IMGs ignore to their own detriment when attempting to work in Australia. These are mistakes that I see time after time, and the sad thing is that it is only often that someone comes to me late in the process to seek help on one of these problems. When, if they'd come to me earlier or known about these issues, they could have saved themselves a lot of pain and heartache and time. Mistake number 1, English language proficiency. So the first mistake is a pretty simple one. It's not having the right English language proficiency. I've blogged and vlogged on this topic quite a few times before, so I won't give a detailed overview about English language proficiency. I'll leave some links in the description below. But suffice to say, an Australian specialty college is not going to assess you if you are required to prove your English language proficiency. Now, if you're from a country where English is the main language, like the UK or Canada or the United States, you are probably okay, but you should always check. But if you're from most other countries, say India for example, you will need to sit one of the 4 approved tests and achieve the required score. It's vital that you do your very best on these tests, by the way, as often the level at which you score will affect whether employers are interested in interviewing you, with, for example, a candidate with an IELTS score of 8 out of 9 being much more likely in my experience to score an interview than a candidate with the PAR score of 7 out of 9. All other things being equal. If you haven't sat your test and you apply to a college, your application will be rejected until such time as you complete the test. So this is a delay that you can avoid. And what I generally recommend that you do is that you prepare and sit for your English proficiency test whilst you're spending all that time pulling together all the information required for your application, because that process usually takes a bit of time too. Mistake number 2. Not reviewing your application against the college curricula. In my experience, most specialist IMGs are able to navigate to the relevant college website and read through the relevant pages for IMGs, including finding the application guide and forms for applying for specialist pathway. However, there are 2 things that most IMGs do not look at on these websites, which are crucial to a successful application. The first of these are the college's relevant training curriculum. This is the curriculum that is set for local trainees in Australia. You see, it's vital that you are able to demonstrate both in your application as well as your interview that your training and experience is as close as possible to what is expected of a specialist in Australia. The best guide to this is what and how the college determines its own local trainees should do. As an example of this, if you are applying to the Royal Australasian College of Physicians as a general physician, you would be best advised to review your application against the RACP Advanced Training Curriculum for General Medicine and Acute Care. This document goes over in explicit detail what experiences and learning outcomes local physicians are meant to go through and how these are assessed. This is by far the easiest way to work out how your training in your own country stacks up against a specialist here, and how to explain this training in terms that the college will understand. These documents can also give you some hints about extra things that you could do now or in the short-term future to increase your chances. For example, perhaps there is a certain skill or procedure that an Australian trainee is required to demonstrate. Maybe you can do a course on this skill or procedure, or take a short post in a service in your own country that performs this skill or procedure. Mistake number 3, not reviewing your application against the college's professional framework. The third and last mistake is similar to the previous one. This is not taking the time to find out about the professional framework for college fellows in Australia. Again, these frameworks are usually easily found on the websites. The frameworks give a guide to the types of behaviour and skills a consultant is expected to demonstrate and have and maintain in Australia. Most of these are based upon the famous CanMeds framework. If you are aware of these frameworks, then you'll be able to avoid a common error I see when reviewing applications for specialist assessment. This is to poorly describe your consultant experience. Remember, the first thing that colleges tend to look at is the length and then the quality of your training. After this, if there's any doubt, which is often the case, they want to then see that you're working as a consultant in your own country, similar to how a consultant might work in Australia. This not only involves demonstrating the medical expertise that you have at an independent level, but also demonstrating other things from these competency frameworks, such as managerial roles and quality improvement activities, and of course teaching and supervision. As a rule, it is important to document for each and every consultant job you have worked, both the clinical responsibilities and achievements, including the level of autonomy you worked at, and the colleges are generally looking to see that you were the most senior doctor responsible for your patient's care, as well as a broad range of other skills and achievements such as teaching and training, performance managing other people, being responsible for quality and safety, as well as research activities. So there you go. There are 3 key mistakes to avoid when applying for the specialist pathway in Australia. As I said earlier in the video, I have now put together a free course that you can take which will help you to understand this pathway and your options better. In this course, there's also a handy checklist that will help you to make sure that this is the right option for you, and if so, that you're on track with your application and you don't overlook a key element such as the ones we talked about already. So, as usual, if you enjoyed this video and my other videos, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.